الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. All praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created us as a human being and gave us the tawfiq to be a Muslim. It is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave us the tawfiq to sit down together and to speak and listen on some topic about Islam. The verse of Quran, it means Man amila salihan min zakarin aw unsa wa huwa mu'min. Whoever will do good amal, he may be a male or a female, but he should be a mu'min. We will give him a successful life. We will give him a clean life. We will give him a life which will be full of respect. Now, every one of us wants to have a good life, a successful life. So the condition is that we should be a mu'min and then we should make good amal. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, we have taken the first step and we have accepted Islam, we have recited Kalima. But the second step, that is to make good amal, and this is step where some of us, they are doing good and some of us, they need to do more good. It is a general thought among the women that only males can become good awliya and close person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is not true. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept the door open for both males and females, men and women. Any woman who will lead a pious life, become a righteous person, virtuous person, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give her the closeness, the proximity, the marifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the doors of wilayat are open for the both men and women. If we look at the history of Islam, then we can see that there were many women who got the knowledge of Islam, they became practicing Muslimah, and then they spread Islam and they worked for the propagation of Islam in the past. But let me say one sentence to explain my topic which I want to tell you, that on the back of each and every big personality, famous personality in Islam, you will find the role of a woman either in the shape of mother or wife or sister or daughter. Let me quote just few examples. Let us see the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the beginning of his prophethood. when he got the first wahi, he came back to his house and then he said to his wife, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, you should give me the blanket and I am afraid that I may die. Khashitu ala nafsi. Then what happened? The wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidah Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she replied, Kalla, Wallah, innaka latasilur rahim, wa tahmilul kal, wa taqsibul ma'adum, wa tukri'ul dhayf, wa tu'inu ala nawa'ib al-haq. So she pointed out 5 characteristics of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then she said, because you have so many good akhlaq and amal, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not destroy you. It cannot happen. So due to those sentences, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got some happiness and then he got encouragement. So if you see the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will find the role of a woman in the form of a wife. She is telling sympathetic words to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She is giving encouragement to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then she is spending whole of her wealth for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So she is giving strength to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let us see another example. Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, once he wanted to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came out from his house and had a sword in his hand. In the way, he met with one of the Sahaba who asked him, Umar, you seem to be angry today. Where are you going? He said, I want to go to kill the Prophet of Islam. Then he said, how you can do that? Go to the house of your sister and then ask them, she and her husband, they have accepted Islam. So Umar, he was very angry how it happened. So he took a turn and went to the house of his sister. And there, when he reached there, then he listened some boys as if they were reciting something. He knocked the door. The door was open. Then he asked, have you people accepted Islam? His brother-in-law replied that, Umar, if Islam is a true religion, then he listened these words and he started beating his brother-in-law. His sister, she came in between and he made a stroke on the cheek of his sister. She fell down and then she stood up and there were tears from her eye coming out. And then she said, Umar, you can take out the soul from my body, but you cannot take out the iman from our heart. So this was a spark for Umar radiallahu ta'ala. He melted and he said, oh, can I listen what you were reciting? He said, Umar, you are not clean. You need to take fast in order to listen the holy verses of Quran. And then he took fast and then he listened Quran and then he said, I want to become a Muslim. And then he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was in the house of Arqam radiallahu ta'ala. The door was locked. And when he knocked the door, then one of the Sahaba, he looked at Umar radiallahu ta'ala from some hole, and then he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar has come and there is sword in his hand. Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anhu, he was also sitting there. He said, okay, open the door, let him come. If he has come with good intention, then let him come. And if he has come with bad intention, then I will be sufficient for him. The door was opened, but now Umar radiallahu anhu, he was a changed personality. He came and sat down in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that, O Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to become a Muslim. And the Muslims, they made a takbir, Allah Akbar. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he told them that I made dua. I have been making dua since last so many days. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted my dua and you have become a Muslim. So behind such a big personality in Islam, you will find the role of a woman in the form of sister. Hazrat Ikrimah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one of the big generals of the Islamic army, you will find the role of the wife. At the time of Fatah Makkah, he thought that he should go away because he felt that he will be killed. And Rasulullah sallallahu, he will give the order. But this person has given me so much torture and pain that he should be killed. So he left Makkah. But then his wife, she accepted Islam and then she said that, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu, can you give peace to my husband? Rasulullah said yes. So she went to see her husband, and in the way she met him. He was on the boat. He wanted to cross the river. She took another boat and then she traveled speedily and went near him in the river. And then she said, Ikrimah, you should not go away. Please come back. And I have brought peace for you from the Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came back. He accepted Islam. He became a very big, brave general of Islam. And then at the back of this general, you will find the role of the woman in the form of wife. So many other examples can be quoted. Even in Islam, the first person who was martyred, she was a woman, and her name was Sumayya radiallahu ta'ala anha. So she was a woman. Even when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got wahi and he came back, so the first person in this ummah who listened the Holy Quran from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she was also a woman, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha. So look at these people. At the time of Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the women, they had the habit of acquiring the knowledge of Islam, and they were very big, knowledgeable personalities at that time. Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was a woman. She was Hafiz al-Quran, and then she was Faqeeha. Ibn Qayyim rahmatullah alayh, he has narrated that there were 149 Sahaba who were Fuqaha, and all of the other Sahaba, they used to ask fatwa from them and then they used to practice. And then out of 149, he said that there were 14 which were even more big knowledgeable personalities and all of the others, they used to ask from them. And out of these 14 personalities, one of them is Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. So one of the women is out of 14 fuqaha who has got a very prominent place among the Sahaba. Once a Sahabiya, she came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the gents, they listen to your hadith and they get the knowledge. Can you fix some day for the lady so that we should come here and we should listen from you? And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, okay, on Wednesday there will be a time specially for women. And women, they used to ask questions and they used to listen about the religion from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they had a desire to learn more and more about Islam, more and more about deen. They had such a big knowledge that at the time of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was a Khalifa, he was Amir al-Mu'mineen, once he made a khutbah, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, and he said that I am looking that people, they fix very big amounts of haq meher at the time of nikah, and the poor people, they cannot fix that, so they have to be ashamed. I feel that there should be one amount which I should fix, so that all of the people should make that amount, should fix that amount. And then he decided some reasonable amount that this should be fixed. But when he came down from Mimbar, then one of the Sahabiya, she came towards him, she was having parda, she said, Umar radiallahu anhu, Amir al-Mu'mineen, did you fix this amount yourself? Or you fixed it from Quran and Hadith? He said, no, I wanted to make good arrangements so that the poor, they should not be ashamed and they should not feel that they do not have money. So that's why I wanted that there should be one amount that should be fixed for everyone. Then she said that Umar radiallahu anhu, if Quran has told something, how you can change it? And Umar radiallahu anhu, he was surprised. What are you saying? She said that there is a word in Quran, Ihdahunna qintaran, that if someone of you has fixed or given a heap of gold or silver to his wife. So if Quran has used the word a heap of gold and silver for the wife, how you can cut down the amount and fix a small amount yourself? Umar radiallahu anhu, he came back again on the mimbar and he made an announcement and he said, I am thankful to a sister who corrected me because it has been mentioned in Quran. So Umar takes his word back and there is no limit. It is the choice of every husband who wants to fix an amount, he is allowed to fix that. So look at the level of knowledge at that time of the women. Even at the time of Sajjad, he was one of the Tabi'een and he was very cruel person according to the historians. And once he killed the son of an old woman. She came to Hujjaj and she said, Hujjaj, you have finished my son, killed my son. Listen, that if you will not change your life, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take away your name as if he has taken away the word Kalla from the first 15 juz of Quran. And when she mentioned it, then the people realized that in the first 15 juz of Quran, the word Kalla has never been used. So even in their daily life, the women used to say so many points which were indicative that they had lot of knowledge. Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullah alayh, he was one of the very big muhaddithin. He narrated that he met a woman and she used to speak from the verses of Quran. I cannot narrate the whole story due to shortage of time. Otherwise, it was very appropriate time to tell you that how much knowledge the women of that time they had about the religion. Whatever question Abdullah ibn Mubarak asked her, she replied from the verses of Quran. And then he came to know that since last 20 years, this woman never uttered a single word out of the Quran. And why she was doing this? That she had a thought in her mind that my book of deeds will be presented in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I want that every word in that book of deeds should be from the Quran. So if the humans have spent such a good life, why we cannot acquire knowledge and become a practicing Muslimah in these days? It's very easy. Even Imam Malik rahmatullah alayh, he was one of big fuqaha and one of the big muhaddis. It has been written in his life story that when he wanted to listen hadith from his students, then there was a curtain, and behind the curtain his daughters, they used to sit down, and his students, male students, they used to recite the hadith, and if some of them made a mistake, then behind the curtain, the daughters, they used to make some sound of, they used to strike some wood on a wood to make some sound, and when the sound used to come, Imam Malik rahmatullah alayh, he got a message that there is some mistake. So he used to amend the mistake of the people. So look at the level of knowledge that the daughter of Imam Malik rahmatullah alayh, she was so knowledgeable that she used to listen to the ahadith and used to correct the gems at that time. I was reading the life biography of Hakim Tirmidhi rahmatullah alayh, not Imam Tirmidhi. There are two muhaddis. One is Imam Tirmidhi, who wrote Sunan Tirmidhi, and the other one is Hakim Tirmidhi. He was a Hakim, a physician of that time, and also he was a muhaddis. So he wrote that in my childhood, I got the knowledge of hadith from 7 different women, and all of them, they were muhaddisah. So he acquired the knowledge of hadith from 7 different female teachers in his life. And it was very common that our ancestors, they used to take the knowledge of hadith in their childhood from their mothers. Qari Mutayyib rahmatullah alayh, he narrated that he acquired the knowledge up to Mishkat Sharif from his grandmother, who was the wife of Maulana Qasim Nanawati rahmatullah alayh. Before, there was no printing press in this world. People used to write the Holy Quran with their own hands. And the women of that time, they contributed a lot in saving the Quran and transferring the Quran from one generation to the next generation. So the girls, they used to acquire education of deen, and then in their houses, they used to sit down every day, complete their house homework, whatever is required for the house, and then they used to write 1, 2, or 3 pages of Quran every day with their own hands. And meanwhile, that they completed their Quran, then there was arrangement for their marriage. Then the parents, they used to make that Quran in a book form, and then when she was married, she used to take this Quran to her new house. This was an indication from the parents' side that our daughter, she spent her time in writing the Quran, and that gift she is bringing with her to your new house. So this was the schedule of the girl at that time. And if you look at the bigger personalities of Islam, then you will find the role of the woman. Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayh, there were 2 brothers, Muhammad Ghazali and Ahmad Ghazali, and they became orphans in the childhood, and their mother, she gave them good tarbiyat, and they became Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayh. Then you know Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayh, one of the very big personality in Islam. Then you might have read the story that he was a child when he wanted to go to seek knowledge, and then her mother, she sewed the money in the cloth, and then she said, "Oh my son, you are going to acquire knowledge, do not speak lies." And this son, when he went, so they were robbed in the way, and then he spoke the truth. and the Dockets, they made Tawbah and they became a good Muslim. And this small child, he became at his own time Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah Alayh. So at the back of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, you will find the role of a woman in the form of mother. Bajir Bustami Rahmatullah Alayh, one of the very big mashayikh of this ummah. Then he also became orphan in the childhood. And then his mother took him to the madrasa and told the teacher that do not allow him to come to the home frequently, otherwise he will be deprived of from the knowledge. And then after 2 weeks, by the Sami Rahmatullah Alayh, he got permission from the teacher and came back to his home. He knocked the door. His mother was making wudu, and she came. She understood that there is my son on the door. But then she asked, who is there who is knocking the door? He said, I am Bayazid. She said, there is one of my son whose name is Bayazid, but I have deputed him for the knowledge of Islam. Who are you who is knocking my door? And this small child, he got the knowledge. He came back to madrasa, he stayed there, and then he became full alim. Then he left the madrasa and came back to his home to see his mother. So behind Bajir Bustami Rahmatullah Alayh, you will find the role of a woman in the form of mother. Khaja Syed Rahmatullah Alayh, he was such a big shaykh that 700,000 Hindus, they accepted Islam on his hand, and 100,000 Muslims, they made Tawbah on his hand. When he came back, he told his mother about the journey, and he seemed to be very happy. Mother asked, Muinuddin, you are very happy today. He said, Amma, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the tawfiq that so many kuffar, they accepted Islam on my hand, so I'm happy. He said, Muinuddin, it's not only your credit, it's my credit. And then he asked, Mom, yes, you are true, but tell me how it is your credit. She said that when you were a small child, I never fed you milk until I was with wudu, always with wudu. So this is the mercy, this is the blessing of that milk that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the tawfiq that 700,000 kuffar, they accepted Islam on your hand. So behind a big personality in Islam, when you need to share Mary, you will find the role of mother, of a woman in the form of mother. Khaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki Rahmatullah Alayh, who was the shaykh of the Mughal emperor. If you read the life history of that shaykh, then you will find that his mother trained her, even in the childhood, that he should have a firm iman and yaqeen, and then he became a very big shaykh. So I wanted to explain one point, that if you read the history of Islam, then you will find that behind each and every big personality, you will find the role of the woman in the form of wife, mother, sister, or daughter. Women have contributed a lot. Even if you will find Hasan Basri Rahmatullah Alayh in this ummah, then you will also find Rabia Basriya Rahmatullah Alayh in this ummah. If you will find that Bilal Rizano is being punished for the sake of deen, then you will find that Hazrat Zunaira radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was punished due to this deen. She was bearing the hardship. Even if you will find Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a brave general, a soldier of Islam, then you will also find the sister of Hazrat Zara radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and she physically fought with the enemies at one time. When Hazrat Zara anhu, he was captured by the kuffar, Hazrat Khalid ibn Walid anhu, he narrated that the Muslims were very few, and our soldiers, they were captured by the kuffar, and I was fighting, but I felt that I am alone. I cannot do so much what I wanted to do. And then I found that there was a soldier who was covering his face, and he came in and he was fighting with the kuffar, and he killed so many kuffar until we got Hazrat Zara released from the hand of kuffar. And when we were coming back, I went to him and I said to that soldier, "Who are you?" Then there was a feminine voice that I am the sister of Zarrar. I felt that you were alone and you needed some help, so I was there to help my Muslim brother. So if the Muslim daughter, sister, mother, they could do so much for the sake of religion in the past, why they cannot do this at this time? So it is the responsibility of each and every lady to acquire the knowledge of Islam, to become practicing Muslimah. The door of the Vilayat is open for the both gents and ladies. They can go as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as anything. They can acquire the proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They can fill their hearts with the nur, with the marifat. Because the time is short, let me close my speech, and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should give us the tawfiq to become a good Muslim, and all the sisters, they should make tawbah from their sins, acquire knowledge of Islam, and then they should practice the deen so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may reward them, and they should become the chosen persons and the beloved persons of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they should be successful on the day of judgment and even in this world. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. دعا کیجیے. سبحان ربی العظیم. اللهم صل علی سیدنا محمد وعلى آل سیدنا محمد وبارک وسلم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. صلى الله تعالى على حبيبه سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.